Science fiction and Hollywood movies have long been fascinated by scenarios of invasions from other planets. But between 1947 and 1969, the U.S. Air Force actually investigated more than 12,000 reported sightings of unidentified flying objects, which gave rise to rumors of imminent invasion by hostile forces in space. In 1952, the Air Force reassured the public that though a few such reports remained unexplained, the threat of invasion was too remote to worry about.
Okay, the next item is our special guests, Vincent and Alex, and we're going to get the right.
Yes, we are. We have it right here. You want to read it?
Ynzunza. Didn't I say that? Oh, Ynzunza. That's brilliant.
Say it again. Let's teach everyone how to say it.
Okay. First, we're going to learn how to say Vince's name as well as we're doing the handshake. Ynzunza.
Yes.
Okay. Vincent Ynzunza, yes, is right here, my friend Vincent. Is Alex filming or she's filming? Okay, got it. And Alex Sullivan, also co-founder, is filming. I'm going to hand off the microphone to Scott for a little Q&A with Vincent. Vincent was kind enough to come last year and do a wonderful documentary, and that's how we first kind of got to know Vincent and Alex and the team, and we just asked them to come back. We pay an enormous speaker's fee, which is beer, and of course they said yes. It was amazing, and Pacific NorthWEIRD, Vincent will be able to tell you what it is exactly, but we're just so honored that you would return and share your experiences with us. And I'm going to hand this over to Scott, who's been involved with us for all 4 years. And it was Scott's idea in the very first year, as we were telling the tale, that we should make a movie, which we did. So it's so appreciative that you were here. I'm going to hand the microphone to Scott for the interview, and then hopefully we'll do a little Q&A where the audience can ask questions.
Yep.
Okay.
It's all yours. Let's hear it for Steve Edmiston, who tells such a great story. If it wasn't for his great storytelling abilities, none of this would have happened. So I stood in the back when he first told it the first year, and then here we are now. So Vincent Ynzunza, everyone. Now Vincent is a rising star in the ufology world, especially online. He's got a popular YouTube channel, Pacific NorthWEIRD. And this young man has immersed himself in ufology and Northwest mysteries, from the Maury Island Incident to Bigfoot to your own experiences. So we're going to kind of learn a little from Vince what his thoughts are, and he'll kind of take us on a tale. So I'll start with our first question. What are your thoughts on the Maury Island Incident? Real, hoax, and why do you think that way?
Hello? Right up to my lips, that's weird. Okay.
We're just sharing.
Yeah, this feels strangely natural. Okay. Maury Island Incident, I think, is kind of the red-headed stepchild of ufology, but it's our red-headed stepchild. And it's great. I think the Northwest in general, what makes it really special is we're a series of firsts. You know, the first term flying saucer, which came from the Kenneth Arnold sighting. The first use of the word Sasquatch, which came from the Salish Nation and everything. And Maury Island, which gave us the very first Man in Black, a cultural milestone. I think something really happened. I think the fact that Hoover was so interested in it, that he sent 2 men here, that they were compelled enough to send Kenneth Arnold to investigate, that, you know, Fate magazine got involved. Something real happened. What that was, I tend to think it was the government's first botched cover-up. And that's why it just feels so messy. It doesn't smell right.
Excellent answer. It doesn't smell right. I just thought that was the tide out here. So tell us, Vince, where and how does the Maury Island Incident fit in the overall world of ufology?
It was kind of a Maury Island incident. I consider kind of a ritual sacrifice that allowed the rest of the summer of the saucers to begin. You know, not only 2 dead brave servicemen, but a dead dog, and really maybe the end of Harold Dahl's career in life as a normal person. We had to have it start off really, really badly, and have it mired in controversy in order for the more popular Roswell, or even Kenneth Arnold, to follow suit. So it's kind of like the first season of a lot of shows that we all know and love, like I don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Great show, first season, not that great. I mean, it's still good, you know. X-Files, first season, you know, it's got some trips, stumbles, and falls to it. I see Maury Island as the first season of this great ufological lore that we all know and love.
All right. Great answers, as if this guy knows something about storytelling. So, why has this case been dismissed as a hoax by a lot of ufologists? And I'll just tell a little story. We were showing it at the McMinnville UFO Festival, and a famous ufologist named Stanton Friedman was there watching our presentation, and I think it was the introduction where the host mentioned the first Man in Black, and Steve and I were just off to the side waiting to go on the stage, and Stanton Friedman is famous Roswell. He's the guy that broke the whole Roswell thing. That's his story. He kind of just went, he just scoffed really strongly, like, anyway. So, what are your thoughts on that?
That was a really good Stanton Friedman impression. I've met him before, and he does scoff like a bowl full of jelly. You know, I think a lot of it, the hoax albatross, of course, has to do with, you know, Harold Dahl saying it was a hoax. And a lot of people maybe not knowing about the supplementary and additional information that is around that. Why did he say it was a hoax? People, who I think, are generally a little too eager to write off anything about saucers in the sky, extraterrestrial life, even conspiracies themselves. The fact that the government, you know, may not be what it is on its face value. So when they hear it's a hoax, they don't read further. It's instantly a hoax for the rest of its life. You can combine that with Harold Dahl's friend, Fred Chrisman, who was somewhat considered a bit of a shuckster, a shyster, a con man. And his influence or association with it probably doesn't really help the overall credibility of it. But incredible things do happen to less than credible people still.
All right. So, what specifics about the Maury Island incident intrigue you the most?
I'm all about the Man in Black, actually. That's really my favorite thing about it. I like the classic smoking man mythos of the X-Files. I like what you and Steve did with the film version of the Man in Black and the potential Man in Black, as Hoover christened him at the end. I like this idea of a secret, weird, perhaps a eunuch government agent out there. Yeah. I don't know why, but one thing that also really interests me is when Harold Dahl saw that donut-shaped saucer that was having engine trouble and kind of exploded and this slag comes down. Later, that same slag was in another craft that then had engine trouble and crashed. And I often wonder, is there something about that piece of material that doesn't really want to fly? Like, I wouldn't take that rock you have on a plane that you have on the table there. Yeah. Or give it to somebody that, yeah.
I don't think we took that with us to Burbank, but that's a good note. Do not try to check. Don't try to get it past TSA unless you're hiding it somewhere. So I think they did a recall of that UFO, and so it was fixed after a recall. Okay, so what are your theories on the Man in Black in this case?
I don't think he's an alien. I tend to think he's a eunuch. Yeah. I mean, if I were in charge of the government and I needed a secret sect of people who were completely devoted to me and the mission and secrecy, I'd want eunuchs. It just seems like the right thing to do. It's the way I run Pacific NorthWEIRD.
Excellent note. We'll remember that for any kind of future corporate team building we do. Always hire eunuchs. So, is the Maury Island incident the most interesting or strange UFO incident ever, or just the bestest when compared to Roswell?
And to hell with Roswell. I know this is a family event because I could see people who probably aren't old enough to drink here, but so I'll censor it. We Alexandra and I, within Pacific NorthWEIRD, we have a video called F. Roswell, the Kenneth Arnold story. And you should really check it out. It was an experiment. Can we talk about a real UFO case and curse like sailors throughout the whole thing? And I think we accomplished that. But yeah, I think that video kind of sums up our feelings on Roswell. In relation to the Maury Island incident, first is always first. And it's close to best. I think it's pretty cool. I like being here. Yeah, I do. I do.
Eunuchs are always welcome here. Not that you are. No. So, talking about you, this segues into the next question perfectly. Have you, Vince Ynzunza, ever had a UFO experience?
I had my first through my 12th UFO experience at the ECETI Ranch down in southern Washington. ECETI stands for Enlightened Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. It's this alien New Age ranch run by this man named James Gilliland. The ranch exists right outside of Mount Adams, right outside Trout Lake, Washington. And you go there and you literally see strange lights in the sky coming out of the mountain. You see things that look like satellites, but they're drifting and making odd angles and almost moving like weird biological organisms up in the sky. It's kind of this weird refuge, almost a spiritual refuge that people go to experience extraterrestrial contact. And, you know, I was skeptical when I first went the moment I got out, and I know Alexander can testify to this. It took us too long to unpack our car because we were just looking up in the sky at all this stuff moving around. The people you meet are amazing too. Frank Lupo is a great guy we met who actually has this spiritual relationship with this 7-foot-tall feline cat woman named Bagit, who he thinks exists in one of the saucers above Mount Adams. And he goes there to kind of feel connected with her. He was cool.
Now, wait a minute. Did you say feline cat woman in a saucer? All right, I just want to make sure I understood that. 7 foot. Good for a basketball team. Okay, so what are your theories on UFOs, Vince? What do you think they are?
I think UFOs are time machines from the future, which is the obvious conclusion. If you look at the ancient aliens idea, you know, cave drawings of saucers and men in ships, they all kind of look the same as they do now. And I'm wondering, like, you know, with this advanced technology, wouldn't the spaceships improve and change styles and everything? Like, our cars change styles within decades. So maybe they're all from a certain time point coming back, and we're kind of like a trans-dimensional zoo that they just get to hop out and kind of learn about different eras of this big petri dish.
Nice.
So, time machines from our own future, from our own planet?
Yeah, or something connected to wherever we end up going. You know, there are if you believe in the classic gray alien look, I mean, they are primates.
And I believe the classic gray aliens are evolved humans that were obsessed with Xbox. All they did was sit there, and their eyes grew bigger. And our son is a gray alien. He's already evolving. So, yeah, he's not here, by the way. Guess what he's doing? He's playing Xbox. Okay, so why does there seem to be a lot of high strangeness in the Pacific Northwest?
I think the Pacific Northwest not only accepts a whole lot of really strange people into its communities, and that really opens up. All you people are really weird, you know, and you're a magnet for these things. But I think geographically, we're surrounded by mountains, the ocean, forests, three major things that have been huge sources of all folklore throughout humankind, all mystery. I think there's a certain voodoo to that.
A certain voodoo. Okay, on that note, in addition to UFOs, there are other weird, strange things going on. Talk about some of your other interests and other shows you've done, other topics of strange things.
Topics of strange things, like besides UFOs? Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh. Well, Bigfoot's a big one. We're actually currently working on our huge, major, full-length Sasquatch episode, which is going to involve interviews with Cliff Barrickman, the host of Finding Bigfoot, Bob Gimlin of the Patterson-Gimlin, footage from Willow Creek, California in 1967. I'm currently rewriting the Sir Mix-a-Lot song, Baby Got Back, so it's about how much I like Bigfoot, and I cannot lie. And we're going to produce like a really highly stylized music video with that. Alexander and I are working on that currently. We like to do shows about odd people as well, strange, eclectic, eccentric celebrities and artists, roadside attractions, urban legends, strange history, essentially anything that makes the Pacific Northwest one of the most uniquest places on the planet, which it is. Anything that gives it that certain charm and that quality, which really makes it the best place to live for a weirdo. Our show is a love letter to that, so.
All right, and is there anything else you want to talk about before we go to questions from our lovely audience?
Go to our YouTube page and subscribe, please. YouTube.com/Pacific NorthWEIRD. All right, that's all one word. Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. We love your work. So we're now going to open it to questions. If you have a question, I'm going to come out in the audience and give you the microphone. So anyone have any questions for Vince? I know somebody does. Okay.
Are you from here?
Oh, I got to return the microphone.
You're going to be running Phil Donahue.
Yes, I was born in Edmonds, Washington, and had my wonder years in Rochester, Washington, just south of Olympia.
Right by Elma, Capital Forest.
Right by Yelm, with the Ramtha School of Enlightenment. I think there was some of that reptilian Lemurian influence, maybe saturating my growing mind.
Thank you.
I think we have somebody back here. Here we go. Okay, let's see if we can do this.
I'm terribly worried we'll become legit. What can we do to avoid that?
Good question.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
All right, I'll ask a quick question. Have you ever seen Bigfoot?
No, I haven't. I really haven't. My Uncle Bill saw Bigfoot in the early 70s in Carnation, Washington, outside of his mother, my grandmother's place. He said he smelled really bad, and he ran inside and hid under the bunk beds until his parents got home. I work with people who have seen Bigfoot.
What do they tell you? What have they seen? What do they see?
Bigfoot seems to be a really shy, elusive creature, and if you see him, it's going to be really brief. So there seems to be this prevailing theory that Sasquatch isn't some dumb lumbering ape out in the forests who just can barely feed himself. It's actually an intelligent creature that is fully aware that we're trying to look for them, and has, I guess, enough of experience living out in the forest to know how to avoid us when need be.
And what do you think Bigfoot is? Is it an ape, or perhaps from another dimension, or alien? What do you think Bigfoot is?
So a lot of people think that Sasquatch kind of has psychic abilities or telepathic abilities. When Alexander and I first were inspired to create Pacific NorthWEIRD, we saw this speech by this man named Kawani Lapsaritis. And he wrote this book called The Psychic Sasquatch. And he claims to be in communique with 7 different invisible Bigfoots, 2 of which were on stage with him, he claims, while he was giving a speech to us and everything. I haven't seen enough to really believe in that. I tend to follow Dr. Grover Kranz's theory. Grover Kranz was a anthropologist from Washington State University, and his theory was that Bigfoot is a remnant of Gigantopithecus, a really old primate connected with Homo sapien. And you give it enough time and everything evolves. So might just be a really intelligent cousin of ours out there. And that a stinky one, but the theory is that they kind of get to control their stench. So it's kind of like a skunk thing. So like they only stink if they want to. Yeah.
Do they have a dial they can turn up?
Right.
Okay, any other questions? Raise your hand. Oh, we have in the back. I'm going to go all the way back. When I give you the microphone, put it right up to your lips.
Yep. Hello. I was wondering on the idea of the spacecraft being time machines from the future. Would it be a plausible idea if they just got the idea from our observations of spacecraft and like, oh, that was a nice idea. Let's make our spacecrafts like that.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the aliens are going to like a Renaissance fair and they purposely dress that way to kind of blend in, or like if like or when like a Doc Brown and Marty McFly go back to the Old West and they call themselves Clint Eastwood and like wear some silly Western wear. I think that's entirely plausible. Yes.
So I believe this is the first election in which we have a major party's presidential candidate promising to open up the files regarding unexplained aerial phenomena as much as possible if elected. So, one, I'd be interested in your reaction. Two, are you going to adopt the phraseology that she was modeling of, instead of UFOs, unexplained aerial phenomena?
Well, unexplained aerial phenomenon is such a neutered phrase. Like, it doesn't have this cultural impact that UFO has. And my personal theories on our government's connection with UFOs, extraterrestrials, about if they're out there, I think they're just as damn confused as every one of us. I don't think Hillary, Bernie, Trump, Kucinich, any of them, Gary Johnson maybe, I don't think any of them could actually have a real connection or cogent understanding of what these things are. I don't think the government has the answers. I think Area 51 might just be a smokescreen. I think maybe we picked up a few crashed things here and there, but it's I don't know. Have you ever handed your dog an Xbox controller and expected him to figure it out? I think it's the same thing.
All right, well, if that's the case, where did we get our computer chips? Wasn't that like alien technology? And then somebody told me another one of, What is it having to do with the night vision? John, wasn't there a night vision thing that was from Roswell that they back engineered? And also, there's a contract that we have with the aliens. You know about this, of course. The reptilians run the government. Our president and our representatives are just puppets. And it's all a big distraction while the reptilians control the power of Earth, right?
Well, that's the reptilians. I mean, we're talking about aliens. Yeah. Reptilians are probably like more natives of the planet than we are. You know, like we might be really the aliens.
Okay. Time for one more question. Any more? Oh, Alex.
You should tell them about your Blue Boy experience and how it led you to make the show.
Wow.
You always got to bring up the Blue Boy everywhere we go. Okay, now that we're talking to each other, can you zoom in a bit? Like, I had it zoomed out a lot before. Like give me,
You did.
Give me a
I
good shot. Okay,
thought you wanted it like
making
that.
sure.
So.
Yeah.
Play to the camera.
Now he's directing.
So, I have a very, very potent memory as a young child, age 3 or 4, which I think really opened me up originally to the ideas of the unknown, of being entertained by that, you know. As an adolescent, you know, I was into the X-Files and Unsolved Mysteries, and I would check out all the books, you know, about spacemen and classic movie monsters and everything. I like the macabre, I like the weird. And I can pinpoint this all to this one very, very potent memory I have. 3 or 4, I'm alone in my bedroom, I can't sleep, and I feel a presence. I look up, and at the foot of my bed is what I described to my mother at the time as this frail, large-headed, large-eyed blue boy, this child with blue skin. When I think back on that now, the dimensions I describe, it seems like kind of a classic gray alien look to me. At the time, you know, I would...
Wasn't a blue avian?
What?
Sure it wasn't a blue avian?
A blue navy?
Avian.
A blue avian? I don't know what that is.
Bird? Avian?
Well, ask me later. But yeah, that memory is stuck in my craw ever since then. And
Have you been revisited by it?
no, I've never been revisited. Never had a close encounter or been face to face with something alien like that ever since. But you know, it gave me the bug.
Any unexplained scars on your body?
No, I can explain them all.
All right, so anything else? Let's hear it for Vince Ynzunza.
Thank you.
And be sure to subscribe to Pacific NorthWEIRD on YouTube and see their great work. These guys are going to be stars, and you'll remember this. You were there.